Perseverance is not a long race. It is many short races, one after the other. Walter Elliot. And my friends, our perseverance is 10 to 15 minutes each and every day following these charts. You can do this. You will do this if you'll just stick with it. Now, we had a great Patreon live call in today. Patreon members, we recorded that. We did a screencast of it, and it's already been emailed to you. So hope you enjoy it. Thank you for everyone who joined us live. Let's jump into these charts. Oh, you too can become a Patreon supporter and enjoy all the perks, including the once-a-month live question and answer session where we review the stocks you're interested in, the questions you have, to help you become better and better at your practice trading. In addition, we also send you all the special trainings we have for our Patreon members, the short chart training, the long chart training, the Bitcoin training, and of course, the options training, the three-part series, Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way. Let's jump into these markets. We see stocks are up for the day, bonds and gold down. Stocks almost exactly the same up, 1.74 for the S&P, 1.73 for the NASDAQ 100. How do we see things going? We have a small green up candle forming for the week, bigger than last week's, pushing up. It passed through, of course, the weekly trend line as it started the week. Price percent oscillator is flat, a little more than flat. It's going up just a little bit. Hasn't crossed over yet on the weekly. The price percent oscillator still going down. That's our leading indicator. Two-day chart. Of course, we passed through the weekly trend line on the Monday, Tuesday candle. This latest candle, first day of the latest, it will finish drawing on Thursday at the close of the market. We see the price percent oscillators headed up. Hasn't crossed yet, still negative. So overall, the mood is still negative in the stock market, even though we have now, that is 7 days of up movement as far as our two-day candles go. Half day, we can see where things had popped up there on the 6th, sort of rolled off, but then popped up again on the 7th, particularly in the afternoon. So we'll continue to watch, see what there is to see and learn here. We go from the S&P 500 to the NASDAQ 100. Looks pretty similar, except price percent oscillator still heading down on the NASDAQ 100. We do have a green up candle that's forming. High this last week, 282.88. The high so far, 281.19. So we'll continue to watch and see if we hit a higher high this week. That hasn't happened yet. Derivative oscillator is about flat, maybe gaining a little bit of downward momentum. We see the price percent oscillator on the two-day chart heading up. We had a red open box candle, almost a doji, yesterday. That represented both Monday and Tuesday. Again, you can see things aren't reaching the high that they reached back on the Thursday, Friday candle of last week. Derivative oscillator still negative, but losing momentum. Price percent oscillator negative, but heading up. Hasn't crossed the red signal line yet. What's happening on the half-day chart? Looked like it was going to cross over going down. Didn't do it, pulling away from that. Spinning top in the morning, green up candle in the afternoon. But again, you can see where that high was reached last Thursday afternoon. So we'll continue to watch, see what happens on these charts. Things going to roll back over and head down before we have that two-day cross. Don't know. Is the weekly going to finally cross? Is it going to turn around and cross back over? Don't know there. Is everything going to collapse? My friends, that's why we follow these charts every day. We will know as we watch. Okay, let's look at 20-year bonds. They're down for the day, 0.73%. Look at the red down candle that we have. We see the price percent oscillator moving down, pulling away from the red signal line. Derivative oscillator gaining downward momentum after it had lost momentum for 3 weeks. We go to the two-day chart. Price is nice and below that two-day trend line. I'll try to redraw a closer one. Can't connect 3 candles, which is what we like. We trust trend lines more when they have 3 candles connected. Derivative oscillator gaining downward momentum. Look at that price percent oscillator spiking over, moving down. We had that two-day recross back last Friday. I know many of you were looking at that, and it has done quite well for you. Quite well. Jumping in point was what? Somewhere around the 262.70 mark. And of course, a low so far at 158.86. 158.86. Oh, 156.60. Let's see, 158.86 was the low. Today, 158.68 is the prior low. So again, we popped a little lower in that last 2-day candle. So we'll continue to watch, see which way they continue to move, but that price percent oscillator spiking down. What's happening on the half-day chart? We saw where things got a little squirrely. They had really crowned down, and then yesterday afternoon, they sort of settled out up, and then of course in the morning down some, down further in the afternoon, and we see the price percent oscillator moving down. Derivative oscillator losing some downward momentum. So we'll continue to watch, see how that 2-day recross plays itself out. Gold. Well, gold, we had that weekly vertical crossover back on Friday, the 11th of September. Up that next week, then down strong on the week ending the 25th of September. And then, of course, we are just sort of seeing things. You'll see this more on the half-day and the 2-day charts as things slide sideways. Derivative oscillator still gaining downward momentum. Price percent oscillator still heading down. 2-day chart. It's where you can see where things had dropped for 6 days and then sort of slid sideways up a little bit for 4 days and then trending over down. We see first day of this latest candle is a down candle. First day of the latest 2-day. Price percent oscillator heading down. Derivative oscillator losing downward momentum. That half-day chart, you can see where things were moving up, just continuing to move up, and then peaked with a spinning top there on Tuesday morning, and then really started banking over. So hasn't crossed over yet, getting awfully close to it, so keep your eye on that. We talked about that yesterday with a potential 4-hour or half-day, as we call it. It's actually 195-minute crossover going down. So we'll watch. That'll be moving in the same direction as the 2-day and the weekly. So might give you a jumping in point for a practice trade. Again, the weakest of all of our crossovers, but that might be happening tomorrow morning. Folks, that's where we are as we end the day. Like I said, Patreon members, look for your emails with that training we did with you. Hopefully you joined us. If you didn't, we're working. Couldn't join us at 12:30 Eastern Daylight Time today in the States. We recorded that for you. It's in your show notes. If you don't have our book, you want to supercharge your training, my friends, follow the link in your show notes. We've got an autographed copy ready for you. Thank you again for Patreon support, and thank you so much for being with us 10 to 15 minutes a day. That's all we ask. God bless from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.